I was at work the other day, and we were talking about summer vacations, and I mentioned my trip to Utah and Vegas. Well, my coworkers mentioned that I had paid for it all in points, and I clarified. I paid for a lot of it with points, but it wasn't a free trip. And then someone else was like, "What, you mean credit card points? We don't do that." And I shared, well, it's a lot of work, but it's worth it for us. That's when she blew my mind a little bit, because she went on to say that they just use their debit card. They just use their debit card. They just use their debit card. Now, all I said at the time was, you should look into what credit cards can offer. But there's a lot more going on in my head, and we're going to unpack that now. Members of the Travel Points family focus on using credit cards to go farther for less, not debit cards. While you might think my choice to use credit cards revolves around points, it doesn't. And I've got 7 good reasons why using a credit card is better than using a debit card. But we need to make sure we understand the difference between a debit card and a credit card. I mean, after all, they're both little plastic cards, they fit in your wallet, and when you swipe them or you tap them, people let you buy stuff. But the difference lies in where the money is coming from. Debit cards are of course linked directly to your bank account. When you use your debit card, money is transferred to the vendor directly from your checking account. But credit cards also transfer money to the vendor, but it's not your money. It's Citi's money, or Wells Fargo's, or American Express's, or Chase's, but it's not yours. Which means that when you use a credit card, you are borrowing money from the credit card issuer. You are taking out a loan and agreeing to pay it back. So why are these loans better? Why should you take on debt if you don't need to? Why should you use a credit card instead of a debit card? Let's start with reason number 7, benefits. While from a very broad sense, everything I'm about to list could be considered a benefit, I'm going to narrow down reason 7 to benefits that go beyond the credit card. Benefits like status with a hotel or airline, free checked bags, cell phone protection, airport lounge access. Now, these are benefits that have nothing to do with financial services, and there are plenty of cards that have them. Now, the better the benefits are, the more likely it is that the card has a high annual fee. But there are cards with no annual fees that still provide you with additional benefits. And this video here actually features 2 no annual fee cards from Wells Fargo that both offer free cell phone protection. Credit cards are much more likely to include these benefits than debit cards, but because there's a lot of variability in these benefits, I'm listing benefits at number 7. Reason 6, credits. Many credit cards will come with credits for different services or products. For instance, the Chase Sapphire Reserve has an annual $300 travel credit. When you spend $300 or more on hotels, airlines, car rentals, cruises, or even on your parking, Chase will give you a statement credit to cover the first $300. Sometimes these credits get a bad rep because it can feel like there are a lot of hoops for you to jump through. Nicole's Sapphire Preferred card has a $50 hotel credit, but there are rules on how you have to book the hotel. My Bonvoy Brilliant card from American Express has a $300 dining credit, but I have to use it in monthly increments of $25. You aren't going to find these credits on a debit card. But since these credits can be burdensome, I'm ranking them at number 6. Reason number 5, extended warranties. Many credit cards will provide you with extended warranties on your purchases. Every store is offering you the opportunity to buy extended warranties when you purchase nearly anything, from TVs to USB drives. You can't check out on Amazon without getting that offer. And many people will tell you that these warranties aren't worth it, but sometimes we still feel the need to protect what we buy. Well, if you use the right credit card, you can have that peace of mind automatically. That's not happening with your debit card. Now here's reason number 4, rewards. That's right. Points and mile rewards only come in as the 4th best reason to use a credit card instead of a debit card. Credit card issuers reward you for signing up, they reward you for using their card, and they do so by giving you cash back or points or miles. And to be fair, there are some debit cards that you can earn rewards with too. But no debit card rewards you more than a credit card. Each credit card earns rewards differently, and there are some credit cards that don't reward you, but credit cards have much greater potential to reward you than debit cards. I love my points, I love my miles, I love my rewards. I love what they've enabled me to do. I really love that. By the time 2024 comes to a close, we'll have stayed 45 nights in hotels and gone onto an airplane 21 times on points and miles. And that's all in this year. And if points and miles aren't your thing, you could get massive rewards through cash back instead. So what could I value more than points and miles? In fact, what 3 things could I value more than points and miles? Before we get into that, if you're getting something out of this video or want to hear more about credit cards, take a moment to like this video and subscribe. And if there's someone you know who is relying on their debit card, share this video with them. Number 3, purchase protection. This is different than an extended warranty. Extended warranties usually add a year to a manufacturer's warranty, maybe they double it, but purchase protection only applies for about the first 90 days. And purchase protection can cover issues that warranties don't, such as accidental drops, spills, or just downright losing something. Imagine getting off the plane and realizing the AirPods you just bought are still in the seat back. Now imagine calling up American Express and getting a replacement set. The exact purchase protection you have will vary among cards and issuers, but your debit card is not going to have it. Number 2, your credit score. Our lives are filled with important numbers and data, but very few numbers have the same potential to save you or cost you the thousands of dollars that your credit score does. Whenever you apply for a mortgage, a car loan, a personal loan, the lender runs a credit report. And all they're doing is seeing what your credit score is. The higher your credit score is, the lower your interest rate will be. Your credit score tells lenders how well you manage your debt. If you look at a website for one of the credit agencies, or you look at the FICO website, they'll show you that there are 5 broad categories of credit scores. Poor credit is 300 to 579, fair credit starts at 580, good credit starts at 670, very good runs from 740 to 799, and then if you're 800 or higher, you have excellent credit. The median home price in America sits around $400,000. Right now, advertised interest rates start at 6.5%. A $400,000 loan at 6.5% will cost you $2,528 a month. But the advertised rate is for people with excellent credit. Raising that interest rate just 0.25%, 0.25 to 6.75% raises the monthly payment by $66. That has you paying nearly an extra $24,000 over the life of your loan for just 0.25%. If you had to pay 1% more in interest than the advertised rate, 7.5%, you'd be paying an extra $96,000. The cost of less than excellent credit is tens of thousands of dollars. But using your debit card has no effect on your credit score. Using your credit card does. According to FICO, 35% of your credit score is based on your payment history. Nothing is more important than making your payments on time. Using your credit card creates opportunities for you to make payments. Ideally, you should be paying in full every month, but as long as you make the minimum payment each month, this portion of your credit score will improve. Now, other considerations for your credit score include things like your utilization rate, the length of your credit history, what your credit mix is, and new credit you've added recently. Responsibly using your credit cards will improve all these factors, raising your credit score, lowering your interest rates, and saving you tens of thousands of dollars. And that brings us down to the number 1 reason you should use your credit card instead of your debit card, the flex factor. What debit card is going to look like a platinum card or feel and sound like a metal card? The actual number 1 reason to use a credit card instead of a debit card is fraud protection. Now, debit cards do offer some amount of fraud protection, but it is limited and time sensitive. With a debit card, if you experience fraud, you can be on the hook for at least $50. That's not the end of the world, but if too much time passes, you could be responsible for all of it. Your account could be wiped out, and you could have little protection. This goes back to the way debit cards and credit cards work. If money is fraudulently taken from your account, your actual checking or savings account, that is your money. But when your credit card is fraudulently used, that's your lender's money. Most credit cards provide their holders with zero liability in the case of fraud. Debit cards and credit cards have an equal chance of being used fraudulently. Card skimmers don't care whether it's a debit or a credit card. Data breaches don't care, but you should. Do you want to have limited to full exposure on your debit card or zero liability on your credit card? Benefits, credits, warranties, purchase protections, and rewards, they're all nice. But none of those perks are as important as the fraud protection that credit cards provide you. Those perks matter when you decide which credit card to get, but they don't change the calculus when you decide on whether to use a debit or a credit card. When you decide which videos to watch, it means a lot that you clicked on one of mine. Now go ahead and click 3 more times. Click to like, click to subscribe, and click to share. Thank you for sticking around to the end. I appreciate each and every one of you. I understand that you might be hesitant about using a credit card. There are lots of stories out there about the perils of credit card debt. But I'd argue that poor financial decisions will always cost you regardless of whether you use a debit or credit card. Maybe you disagree with the order I've listed my reasons. If you do, let me know in the comments below and tell me how you would rearrange the list. Now, if I left something off and there's a reason I didn't think about, let me know about that too. But if you need help learning how to use credit cards, I've got a video for you to check out right here. Until next time, safe travels.